Testing, testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Hope you can hear me. Here we go. Today we just gonna go through some reels, determine whether it's fake news or real issues. I'll let you decide. Here we go. Shalom, people. Just going to share with you what was shared with me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever the fuck. So let's get to it. Here we go. I guess here we don't go. Shit. All right, here we go.
This is the most powerful executive order on pharmacy pricing and healthcare ever in the history of our nation.
Starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries and will no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from Big Pharma. First, I'm directing the United States representatives and Department of Commerce to be.
This is the most powerful executive order on pharmacy pricing and healthcare ever in the history of our nation.
Starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries and will no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from Big Pharma. First, I'm directing the U.S. trade representatives and Department of Commerce to begin investigations into foreign nations that extort drug companies, unfairly shifting the cost burden onto American patients. Next, my administration will secure what we're calling most favored nations drug pricing. The principle is simple. Whatever the lowest price paid for a drug in other developed countries, that is the price that Americans will pay. Some prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 50 to 80 to 90%. To accelerate these price restrictions and reductions, my administration will also cut out the middlemen and facilitate the direct sale of drugs at the most favored nation price directly to the American citizen. We'll also open up America's market to safe and legal imports of affordable drugs from other countries, putting dramatic downward pressure on prices. Special interests may not like this very much, but the American people will. I am doing this for the American people.
He's doing this for the American people. American people. Look at his face. Dead serious.
I'm doing this against the most powerful lobby in the world, probably the drug lobby, drug and pharmaceutical lobby. But it's one of the most important orders, I think, that's ever been signed, certainly with regard to health care or health in the history of our country, and it's an honor to be a part of it.
major Democratic leader for 20 years has been making this promise to the American people, knowing that they'll never have to do it. We now have a president who is a man of his word, and I'm very, very proud of you, Mr. President, for your courage and your willingness to stand up for the American people.
God bless you for having the guts to take on this industry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We're standing up for the American consumer who's been paying far too high prices for far too long.
Presidents on both sides of the aisle have talked about this. You've had the courage to do it. We're going to do everything we can at the FDA to support this executive order. It's transformative. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now you're talking about training.
All right, there it is. President Trump signs a historic, damn, I sound retarded, a historic executive order. Can you imagine? Drugs, pharmaceutical drugs are being slashed by 80%, at least. Let's go.
I'm gonna play the news clip so you can hear the news reporting on it, and then we're gonna talk about it. I got all my notes here. Let's get into this. Roll the clip.
Fox News alert overnight. The Trump administration securing another win, announcing a major tariff deal with China. Trade will be one of the major issues on the agenda when the president makes his high-stakes trip, and the first one to the Middle East. He's going overseas today. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joins us now. Caroline, we're just mentioning there's probably 7 major stories. I know I'm going to disappoint somebody by not bringing it up. First off, your reaction, and what could you tell us about the China deal that has tariffs dropping from 145, 125 respectively to 30 and 10?
This is an extraordinary first step in the right direction. And thanks to the strength of President Trump, Secretary Bessent and Ambassador Greer were able to cut this initial deal with China. China agreed to reduce their tariffs on the United States by 115%. They also agreed to continue having discussions about opening Chinese markets to American-made products and goods. And they also agreed to continue seriously discussing the grave impact that Chinese-produced fentanyl is having right here in the United States and our people. So this is a great first step for the American public, and Secretary Bessent and Ambassador Greer and, of course, President Trump will continue negotiations with China so we can hopefully inevitably get to a fair and comprehensive big trade deal.
Hold on. I don't think people are paying attention to this enough. Caroline Leavitt said it better than anybody can say it on planet Earth. But remember all these people? They were talking so much trash about Donald Trump. And I told you, y'all got record of me saying this. On my show, I told you, be patient. Donald Trump knows what he's talking about. Like, I really do think he's going to resolve this. He's a businessman. He understands how to, we have control. We have leverage. I'm not saying we have all the control, but we do have leverage. I don't know how the American people don't understand this. Like, they need us too. If we increase tariffs on them, that's less productivity or less products being bought in America. They're going to suffer. They have billions of people to take care of. We have 300 million. They can't, we're like majority of their economy, outsourced. They need us. They need us purchasing. And I knew when Donald Trump did it, in good faith, because I'm not God, I know the future. But in good faith, I said, you know what, I think you know what he's doing. I think we have a lot of leverage here. Doing this to get to the drawing board, to get to the negotiating table. He's not doing this to hurt the American people and try to do a peeing contest with the Chinese president. He's doing this to gain leverage so that we can have a better outcome when it comes to trade deals with foreign governments. Finish the clip.
Do you know yet, Caroline, if they're going to unfreeze the rare earth and the magnets that we use for our technical equipment as well as our military equipment?
I do understand that was part of the discussion, but I also know that the administration is working overtime 24/7 with a dedicated team to onshore that very critical supply chain here at home. We need to be producing those magnets, those rare earth minerals, and also look at pharmaceuticals, look at semiconductors. There are critical supply chains that we have been dependent on other countries for far too long. So while we continue to negotiate these good and fair trade deals, we will also continue to boost our domestic manufacturing here at home to strengthen our national security.
All right, so we got the UK deal, the framework for a China deal. Is there another deal queued up, ready to go today before you leave?
Well, look, we told you the next 100 days would consist of peace deals and trade deals, and that's exactly what we have seen. The president announced last week the big trade deal with the UK, as you mentioned. Now we have a first deal with China. Just yesterday, the president announced the release of the last remaining American hostage in Gaza, Eden Alexander, who will soon be united with his loving family. God bless him. That's thanks to President Trump. We also negotiated a ceasefire with the Houthis, and President Trump was instrumental in negotiating a ceasefire with India and Pakistan. This is all in the last week. President Trump and his team are working working incredibly hard on behalf of the country and the world to secure peace deals and trade deals. And don't forget, we have a tax deal coming too. The administration is working with Capitol Hill to sign the largest tax cuts in American history right now.
So come on, stop it. Y'all got to get Trump 2028. I don't think he can run a third time, but his legacy, every election should be Trump 20 whatever, Trump 2030 something, because his legacy will continue forever. I think people aren't digesting. I know you guys are because you're smart, but I don't think the American people are digesting what is happening here. She's just not talking out the side of her neck. A deal with the UK, first phase deal with China, releasing of the hostage in Gaza. Like, these are things that any other presidents could not and would not do. Brokering a ceasefire deal with the Houthis. She said Houthis. It's Houthis. Peace deal, mediation between India and Pakistan. And then also, they may talk about this in a minute, maybe. This thing that he did that my wife brought to my attention last night. She came and she said, oh, you see what Donald Trump did? He whooping on Mother's Day. Trump signed a landmark executive order to cut pharmaceutical prices by up to 80%. Listen, this is the key part. Ensuring that the U.S. pay no more than the lowest global rate. Do you know how significant that is? Cutting pharmaceutical prices by 80%. That's almost 100%. 80%. That means that in the future, a deal has been struck where we get the lowest price. So that means in India, when they selling, hypothetically, let's say it's insulin. In India, if they're selling insulin for $2 a vial, that means that the American people get the lowest price. That means we getting it for $2. They don't get it for $2 and we pay $150 for it, like we've been doing. It's about negotiating on behalf of America. This is what Trump is all about, and this is why we love Trump. And I wish that you go tell your auntie them and your cousin them and your boyfriend, baby daddy, cousin, grandma, friend from down the street back when they were kids. Go tell them with their Trump hating self to go and look at what Trump has accomplished. Just give them these accomplishments and then say,
hey, yo, he said, go tell. That nigga funny. Let me bring it back just a little bit. Hold on.
On behalf of America. This is what Trump is all about, and this is why we love Trump. And I wish that you go tell your auntie them and your cousin them and your boyfriend, baby daddy, cousin, grandma, friend from down the street back when they were kids. Go tell them with their Trump hating self to go and look at what Trump has accomplished. Just give them these accomplishments and then say, what do you think about that? Is that a bad thing or not? Caroline, take it away.
Just going off the Truth Social post, it says, it's a long one, but he says, I'm pleased to announce that today, the White House at 9 o'clock will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders ever. They'll be reducing pharmaceuticals by about 80%. Essentially, we are going to pay less than the country that's paying the least for pharmaceuticals from here on in. How does that work?
First of all, it cannot be overstated how big of a deal this executive order that President Trump will be signing in a couple of hours is for American families, and especially our seniors who have been ripped off by very large and rich pharmaceutical companies. The United States of America is less than 5% of the world's population, yet we purchase 75% of Big Pharma's profits. We pay an astronomical amount in comparison to other countries around the world. So the president is signing an executive order today that is going to implement most favored nations drug pricing and is going to reduce the cost of drugs in this country by more than half at least. America is going to pay a better rate and a fairer rate to the rest of the world. That's what the American people deserve. This is huge news. And also, I will add, we know that healthcare costs and drug prices were the #1 driver of Biden inflation. So not only are we bringing those down, but we are ending Biden inflation once and for all.
Can you clarify that Qatar is giving us a new Air Force One as a personal gift to President Trump? Are they gifting it to the country? What could you tell us about this luxury liner that looks like a hotel in the air?
Well, the Qatari government has graciously offered to donate a plane to the Department of Defense. The legal details of that are still being worked out. But of course, any donation to this government is always done in full compliance with the law. And we commit ourselves to the utmost transparency.
Hey, yo, y'all remember when fucking fly? Whoa. What the fuck? Hey, yo, that's not good. That's an omen. I don't like flies. Anyway, y'all remember when Biden went to Saudi? He ain't get that. They ain't come out like to greet him like this. You know why? Because the Sardinians respect power. I don't know what's wrong with my speech. Maybe I'm having a stroke. I don't know. I hope not. Anyway, this is good shit. Trump's the man.
It doesn't even matter.
That's the crown prince.
What does state-sponsored child abuse look like?
All right, let me prepare you for this. This is heavy shit. I showed this yesterday during my ride share. Get ready. This is explicit. I wouldn't allow the children to listen to this, but this is about them. So get ready.
Genderqueer in my son's library. Child-on-child oral sex. Pedophilia. A grown man grabbing the penis of an adolescent.
And we killing that nigga. Like, my position is that pedophiles should be lined up and bludgeoned until they are terminated. I don't think you can fix them. And to the LGBTQ plus, whatever the fuck, you got your movement, that's what's up. You piggyback off of the, hey yo, I might have to fuck this one. Yeah, for real. You piggyback off the civil rights movement and the 14th Amendment, and you got your shit off. But you can't let these bastards add a letter to your already filled lettering. I don't even know how to word it. They want to add that P. They've already normalized it and oriented. I don't know. It's called minor attracted persons. And can't let that happen. They're going to try to add a letter to your shit and bring them sick fucks onto your movement. Don't let it happen. Or you queer, what is it, lesbian, bisexual, no, it's lender, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and whatever the hell else there is. Don't let that P get added to your string of letters. All right? Now let's listen.
Spun home. Cartoons of adult women engaged in vaginal oral sex. Can you see that from here? Because I have blow-ups if you need it. of a female child repeatedly raped by her father, an African-American child, Senator Street. He climbed on me. Shut up, he say. He slapped my ass. You wide as the Mississippi. Don't tell me a little bit of dick hurt your heifer. Get used to it, he laughed. You is used to it. I fall back on bed. I'm gonna marry you, he be saying. Hurry up, nigga. Shut up. He messed up dreaming, talking, and grunting. First he messed up my life fucking me. Then he messed up the fucking talking. I wanna scream. Oh.
Yo, this is in the school library. You hear this shit? This is unacceptable. It's inappropriate. We need to beat the shit out of everybody in education that allows this. Let's go.
Shut up, nigger. How you gonna marry me? And you is my daddy. I'm your daughter. Fucking me illegal. I tried to go back to video, but coming now. Rocking under Carl now. My twat jumping juicy.
Yeah, they're gonna stop it.
Push.
It's called push.
Where is Child and Youth Services?
Alright, so go check that. That's P City breaking NDAS. That's on TikTok. The book is called Push, and it's inappropriate. Get rid of it.
What does
the AFRICOM command?
This is Captain Ibrahim Traore. I don't really know how to say it. And that picture there is General Langley. Anyway, check this out.
Before the U.S. Senate, your government responded firmly, denouncing unfounded accusations regarding Burkina Faso's sovereign choices. What do you say to those, especially in Washington, who continue to question the legitimacy of your current partnerships, particularly with Russia? And how do you intend to defend Burkina Faso's image on the international stage in the face of this kind of rhetoric?
In any case, we are free to establish relations with whomever we choose. That is what independence means. So on this matter, they can continue to think whatever they want. As for us, we will go wherever we want, as long as the partnership can, in any case, be mutually beneficial for both parties. Regarding those remarks, as you mentioned, we protested through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That was one thing. But I don't know what happened with that general. There is still a problem. And I would perhaps like him to admit his mistake if he was sent, and to understand that this was not the right mission. If he was misled, he should say so publicly, or otherwise admit before the Senate that he was mistaken. Or also, if it was done with bad intentions, well, we will confront him as we should, because everything he said is a lie. And it's really shameful.
Fucking lie
to see an adult, a general officer of a great army, lie. This is very serious. First of all, he talked about Burkina's gold being used for what? For us, to protect ourselves and all that. First, it's Burkina's gold, it's not his gold. That's the first thing. What business is it of his? It's none of his business. It's Burkina's gold. It doesn't concern him. Second thing, he's lying. Because Burkina never had any gold reserves until we came. We were the ones who started setting aside gold in the treasury of Burkina Faso. Otherwise, there wasn't a single gram of gold reserves in Burkina. So that means he's a liar, again. And another thing, when he says that, we use it to protect ourselves and all that. We're free. If the people have decided that we should govern them, we have a duty to protect ourselves. So we are free. What business is it of his? And the part that hurt me the most, not because he's a general or because he's American or anything like that, but because he's black. And it really hurts to see a black man being used to fight against another black man.
I said it before. Hold on. Yeah, I've said it before. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Why is there always, whenever a man like that young man, the president of Burkina Faso, him rises up to represent his people, to liberate his people, to empower his people, why is there never a shortage of sellout Sambo? I'm trying to be, I've said it before, but sellout Sambo, coon ass house niggas. General Langley is an accomplished man. But if you're going against a black man, you a sellout, you a Sambo, you a coon, you a house nigga, and you buck dancing for your masters. You love your white masters, don't you, prick? So listen to Ibrahim Traore. My bad, yo, I don't know how to say your name.
And this didn't start just now. It has to stop. You see, it's very dangerous. Even Libya, who destroyed Libya, once again, they used a black man. In movies, back in the day, in America, black people always played the bad guy. We told ourselves, it's just in the movies. But why do black people have to keep playing the bad guy? And I think that if he heard this interview, he should look at himself in the mirror, feel ashamed, come out and say, well, I was given a false report. I regret it. He needs to say it publicly. If it was a false report, then it was made, because it's possible. It's possible that he was given a false report, that he should come out with it, because as you saw, when I take another neighbor, again, as I say among us, Black, the Ivorian Minister of Defense, who goes around, travels to Turkey, meets the Turkish Minister of Defense, and tells him, you shouldn't sell us weapons. You see how much that hurts. When it's a black person who behaves like that, it really hurts. Did we make a false report? Let him come out and deny it. If he was sent to create a problem in Burkina, as they are used to doing, well, we'll get ready. We'll be waiting for them. Because this has to stop now. The black race should not be used to fight against black people.
That's right.
Every time it's the same thing. It's always the same. And that's what we deplore. And it really hurt us to see that it was a black person making these statements. It's true that they may regret it through various channels. They're trying to make up for it. Now that it was said publicly, it needs to be made right publicly. That's how it is for us. We're no longer engaging in diplomatic hypocrisy, as we like to say.
Hey, remember during the last election, the big threat?
All right, hold on. It's important that we really understand what the president of Burkina Faso is trying to say. He's upset that they're using a black person, an African American man, to depose another black man, an African man, a president. And it never fails, right? Every time, it never fails. Fred Hampton, William O'Neill, Denmark Vesey. I don't remember the three that sold him out. I don't remember their names. I said it before, but them. Was sold Nat Turner out. And the greatest betrayer of all, Judas, sold out Christ. And you know, what does Christ have to do with it? Christ was a black man. Cat's out the fucking bag. And it was the black man that betrayed him. There's always some sellout, Sambo, coon-ass house nigga. And I hate to say that because those are offensive words. But if you are a black person and you are tasked with deposing, arresting, killing, or otherwise eliminating another black man whose only crime, and it's not a crime, is to rise up for his people and try to edify his people. If you are that person trying to bring him down, then you's a fucking coon and you need to be eliminated. And that's just what it is. Somebody needs to, I hope and pray. I do. I've been praying on your demise. Because you got to go. You in the fucking way. What they trying to do over there is right. They trying to be independent and get rid of the colonizers' grasp on their resources and their people and their country and their finances. And ain't nothing wrong with that. And if you see a problem with that, then you got to go. General Langley, you's a piece of shit. And white people, you need to understand that too. Again, I said it before. How dare you talk about make America great again, America first, but won't stand in solidarity with that man trying to do the same exact thing for his people and his country. If you don't stand with them, then you full of shit. And we already know you full of shit. As a people, you're the biggest fucking liars and murderers and everything. Now, not saying that there aren't individuals that are good folk. I know some. I know some white folk that's good people. But as a whole, I put you in the same category that you put black and brown people, that you put us. We ain't shit as a whole. We got a few, good people in your eyes, but as a whole, we ain't shit. So I look at you the same way until you prove your worth. And you don't have to prove shit to me, but prove it to yourself. You want to make America great again? Stand in solidarity with that man who wants to make Burkina Faso great. He wants to liberate his people. He wants to liberate the resources. And the media is telling you lies about this guy, like about Gaddafi. But if you really do the research on Gaddafi's country, he had the best goddamn economy for his people. So anyway, let's just move on. I'm getting upset about this shit.
Democrats made, other than that it will be the end of democracy if Trump gets elected. Hey, remember during the last election, the big threat Democrats made, other than that it will be the end of democracy if Trump gets elected, their big go-to was that the world won't respect us. We won't get along with anyone. The global agenda will crash. Well, check this one out. They said, the dollar will decline, Europe will rise, and Asia will nuclearize. And my favorite was that he'd destroy democracy.
It will be up to the American voters to save our democracy in November.
Well, how about saving democracy? How about that?
Yeah.
How about freedom? So that we can sit here and talk freely?
Democrats are taking back the word freedom.
I make this sacred pledge to you. The defense, protection, and preservation of American democracy will remain as it has been.
But we're a constitutional republic. Well, as it turns out, none of that's true. Anyway, Trump was just greeted by the crown prince himself, unlike Biden, where they sent a local governor, Saudi governor, that was just there to greet him. The Saudi royal...
Yeah, for the record, we are a constitutional republic. We are not now, nor have we ever been, and by we I mean this country, the government of this country, has never been, not now, nor ever been a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. Recite the Pledge of Allegiance, not that you got to mean it, just recite it to understand that it's to the republic for which it stands, not the democracy. That's bullshit that they've been force feeding you. It's called soft killing or conditioning so that you accept it. But we're not a democracy. And any one of you limp noodles, simp, I gotta be nice. Any one of you people who disagree with that is because you hate America. And believe you me, right? As an Israelite of the tribe of Ephraim, of the house of Joseph, of the children of Israel, I know that this is the land of our captivity. And I know that this place will be destroyed according to prophecy. But while I'm here, I'm going to have a home, have a vineyard, have a family, live free as I can be, right? Until, it's destroyed. It fucks me up to hear people talk shit about this nation. Partake in her ways, right? We're taught Israelites to come out of her, right? Don't partake in her ways. It's not altogether true though, right? Because there's shit that we can't do. And we can partake in the ways that benefit us, right? Not like really come out of her. We can't really do that, right? So again, the hypocrisy is real, but I digress. We have to, anyway, let's just go. Let's listen. I'm sorry.
Air Force, their fighter jets escorted Air Force One. Trump had an Arabian horse escort with the beast. The streets were lined with American flags. They played the national anthem and they rolled in a mobile McDonald's for him. Oh, by the way, he also secured $600 billion in investments, which includes
$600 billion in investments.
A huge defense deal.
In addition to purchases of $142 billion of American-made military equipment by our great Saudi partners, the largest ever.
Tell me again, Democrats, that we're not respected on the world stage. Look, all these gestures by the Saudis and by the international community, they're not by accident. The entire world is watching. They're all taking notes. This is not just a kowtow to Trump. This is a signal that the leader in the Middle East is ready to build a relationship with the United States, which is a good thing. You would think they would be cheering it. But if you watched MSNBC with their other 11 or 12 people this morning, they would have you believe that this is about manipulating just Trump.
Yes, the Saudis figured out early the trick for President Trump is to flatter him, to treat him like royalty, which is what he wanted. And we saw that on that trip. We are seeing it again now.
These people, they just can't understand. How much more do they need to see to know that what Trump is doing is working out? This is how these experts, they have missed the mark by so much. All the people who've told us for years. We can go back even long before Trump. These overeducated white shoe elitists. By the way, this applies to both Republican and Democrats here because they're both equally guilty in this. The people closest to the policy decisions have no idea what they're talking about. You could do this on just about any subject. Pick one out of the sky, like the Inflation Reduction Act, okay? It tripled inflation. And while every D.C. consulting firm told us, oh, it's going to be good for the economy, we're going to build jobs, and it's going to propel us to the cosmos or whatever, they were all wrong. All wrong. Meanwhile, you had a waitress in Kansas, a mechanic in Ohio, and a coal miner in West Virginia sitting there scratching their head being like, yeah, I saw that coming. Why is the college, this is probably why college is becoming a joke, but these people all went there. They're supposed to have these fancy degrees. And the entire D.C. government establishment has completely misconstrued their education for intelligence because they don't seem to have any. D.C. is like this process over function institution where change is the enemy of progress. And progress is only marked by how much government money you can throw at it, not any actual achievement. That's why they hate Trump in D.C., but that's why we love him outside of it. Imagine being so indoctrinated like these people that no matter what Trump does, you hate him for it because it's different than it always has been. Besides the fact that, Doge took away all their kickbacks, but that's part of another argument. Not that any of these people have a better way, but we've just always done it this way, and we're going to leave it that way. And therefore, these people will make these, like, they'll go on TV and say stuff that is like, I don't know if they know it's false, but they'll go on national TV and say stuff that is blatantly untrue, that just propels their narrative. That's because no one has ever tried this stuff before, and they think that's bad. So when Trump does it, they're like, oh, it's going to fail, but it's not. You got to wonder, at what point do some of these people wake up and be like, wow, everything I believe is a lie? I mean, you've had people like Elon Musk, Bill Maher, even Jillian Michaels, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard. These people were classic Democrats, some of the middle of the road, classic liberals. And if you remember, the classic liberal standpoint 30 years ago, this kind of highlights Elon's point, was like no vaccines, no pesticide in food, fight the man, leave me alone in my Volkswagen van while I smoke weed. Now, the mainstream Republican platform is no forced vaccines, no pesticide in our food, the man is bad, leave me alone on my property so I can shoot guns. Meanwhile, the reason Trump won is because most of America is not ardently tied to political parties. There's no blind allegiances in most of America for these political parties like there is in D.C. And they recognize what works and what doesn't work. And speaking of what does work, inflation just cooled again today, proving again that Trump kind of knows what he's doing here. It's the lowest it's been, in fact, since Biden's first month in office. Ain't that weird? And instead of a bunch of commentators and political consultants giving Trump a thumbs up, they're like trying to spin this as something that Biden did or whatever else they can come up with. We are so past the days of the Walter Cronkites where he could just say something on TV and people would believe him. It was supposed to be honest and it would sway elections and markets. And yeah, sure, you guys over there, whatever network, keep reporting, I use that word loosely, random things like you're the moral authority for the entire universe or something. But people think now. I know you people tried to discourage that during COVID, but we do. Prices are down on almost everything, yet you're telling us it's bad for the economy. It's not. There's no way to run cover on this for Democrats right now. Tomatoes down 8.5%, lunch meats down 2%, gasoline down over 10%, cars and truck rentals, remember that was a huge one, that's down 8.7%, airfares down over 5%. All that fear-mongering that tariffs were going to destroy the economy, blah, 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 blah. My favorite was when Democrats said the tariffs would be passed on to consumers. And I would just sit there and be like, are you serious? Now do corporate taxes, you mathematically illiterate troglodytes. After Democrats making the argument over the price of eggs, and Trump's like...
mathematically illiterate troglodyte. Goddamn. I want to hear that again.
Are you serious? Now do corporate taxes, you mathematically illiterate troglodytes. After Democrats making the argument over the price of eggs, and Trump's like, I don't know, he got into office and like 7 hours later, they're like, hey, the price of eggs hasn't come down. Well, now they're down 50%. You put that in your pipe and smoke it, libs. Every time they say Trump's ideas won't solve problem X, they do. And if you need any more proof of the experts being wrong again,
the result of President Trump's tariffs, J.P. Morgan took the rather dramatic step yesterday of updating their assessment of the chances of a global recession. It went from 40% to 60%. That means it's more likely than not, in J.P. Morgan's view, that the United States will experience a recession this year.
That was a few months ago, but weird because, oh man, they have it right there on Bloomberg. The experts today and said, oops, we're going to go ahead and drop our prediction of a recession after Trump made a deal with China. Like nobody at J.P. Morgan Chase thought that Trump was going to be able to make a deal. You guys are fools. Really? I mean, like, this is to my point. A bunch of really educated people over there, but not a lot of critical thinkers, apparently, or students of history. They just saw it in the moment. They didn't realize that Trump's, like I said, actually kind of good at this stuff, and he's good at making deals, and things will probably be fine in the end. Again, most people on Main Street were like, yeah, man, let Trump cook. He'll probably get the job done. Same thing with the military, all the wokies, all the experts. And I know that Trump is not going to screw this up, okay? So my plea to these people making these like wild predictions that, by the way, hurt markets and hurt people's savings and 401k. These people have been wrong more than Jim Cramer. So listen to the man.
My preference will always be for peace and partnership whenever those outcomes can be achieved. Always, it's always going to be that way. Only a fool would think otherwise.
Yet you thought he was going to start World War III, again, which didn't happen. Let the man cook. I bet you'll like the meal, even if you don't like his methods. I won't even ask you to apologize, but just chill and enjoy the wins. America, baby.
All right. I'm going to leave it there and get back to it tomorrow. Thank you. And shalom. I'll see y'all soon. You mathematically, how was it? You mathematically illiterate troglodyte. Shalom, y'all.